Welcome everyone. My name is Jess Slade. I'm just going to give you a brief introduction to the Community Helpline for the workshop. So the Torbay Community Helpline was developed in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. It was established on the 16th of March 2020, and we've taken more than 22,000 calls. Torbay is one of the lottery funded Ageing Better areas, and our project's called Ageing Well Torbay. We've been actively working in the area for 5 years, and this has given us a really strong position to make a difference in our community. So leading into the pandemic, we decided that we might be able to contribute in the support for our local community. We had the opportunity to embed asset-based community development to truly understand our local community and envisage the gaps in services and support which would be most needed for those most vulnerable to the virus. We thought we could co-produce and create a platform to work together to support our community and enable residents to have a one call that's all number to use for inquiries, questions and requests for help. Starting with our Ageing Well partner organisations, in just a few short weeks, we were able to offer a unique service for our area, which actually started before the first lockdown. With our collaborative working and building trusted relationships with our other community and voluntary sector groups and statutory services, volunteers and staff came from all different sectors, backgrounds and organisations to come over to the Community Helpline as call handlers, telephone befrienders, rapid responders, matched volunteers for all specific areas. Call outs were made to our local residents to join us in our efforts and support each other through the pandemic. Hundreds came forward offering a variety of skills, time and support to help one another through what looked to be a difficult time ahead. Organisations such as the local food banks in Torbay came together and we created the Torbay Food Alliance so that they could share resources, raise funds and create a single access referral pathway for all those that called the helpline to ensure that everyone in Torbay could access food during the pandemic. Our advice, information and guidance organisations collaborated to create a simple one-step referral process through the helpline, triaged by one partner who ensured the correct members of those organisations were allocated to support the caller. As we took more and more calls, we could identify common themes and develop our offer to the residents of our community and meet their needs. Working with all partners to co-produce the processes needed to establish new referral pathways, creating new roles and recruiting new individuals, groups and organisations who could support one another along the way. Torbay Community Development Trust knew that we could not take this on alone. But because of our experience and knowledge gained through Ageing Well in co-production and the relationships formed through co-delivery of our programme here in Torbay, we were in a position to be the conduit to bring all together to create something meaningful and much needed for our community to thrive as best as we could as we moved into the unknown of the pandemic. This workshop will give you an experience of just one of those 22,000 calls made to the Torbay Community Helpline during the first lockdown.
Thank you, Jess. So I'm Marianne. I'm a community builder with Torbay Ageing Well. And I'm just going to explain what's going to happen now when you're going to go into your breakout room. So we're going to play a kind of game. You're going to be in a team with a few other people and you're going to go into a breakout room with your small team, improvising together with the support of our narrator and our actor who will be with you when you get into the breakout room. You're going to solve a problem. It's an actual real problem that we had on the helpline. You're going to solve a problem from a call that you receive on the helpline. So you will be making calls to get help for this person, and an actor will answer your calls, and the actor will be all the people on the other end of the phone, whoever you decide to call at any one moment. Just remember to tell them who they are before you call them, so they know who they're going to be. You should have had emailed to you all the contacts that you will need to help you to solve the problem. And if anyone hasn't got that list in front of them now on their screen or printed, or they didn't receive it or they couldn't open it, please could you write that in the chat now, and we will try and email it to you right now. Okay, so hopefully you've all got that, and hopefully you've had a chance to have a read of that, and a chance to look at all those contacts, all those people who can help you to solve this scenario. Your narrator will brief you at the beginning, then you will receive a call, the call, with the problem that you're going to solve from your actor, who will be Bill when he calls you. Then the fun begins. You discuss how to answer his call, what you think might be a good idea to do, you know, consulting with each other. It's a good idea before you call anybody to discuss everything together. You can all take turns to be the call handler as well, so it doesn't just have to be one person all the time. And then one of you for this call becomes the call handler, and you answer his call. Then you improvise your way through the rest of the scenario, and after about 40 minutes we'll all come back into the room here together, and then each narrator will give about 1 minute's feedback on what happened in your particular scenario, what happened to Bill in the end. And then Jill, who is with us, who actually answered this call on the helpline, and knows the whole story and helped him out, she will tell us what really actually happened. And then hopefully we'll have some time at the end to answer any questions you might have. Okay, good luck everyone.
Welcome back everybody. We're going to quickly run through how all the narrators, just a bit of feedback from each group, see how you all did, blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards we're going to go to Jill, who's going to tell you about the actual story. So this is based on a real story, and this is one of thousands of stories that we have collected over the last year that have all been incredibly tense, difficult, emotional, you know, but we did just want to give you a flavour of the kind of things we were up to and our amazing call handlers we're dealing with every day. So my group, we almost got to the end, so close. We kind of rushed the last bit just to get up there. But I think you both did really, really well. I'm really impressed. I'd have you on the phone line any day. I'd have you doing this job any day. It was great. Nina, you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. I think they did very well. Definitely.
Mark, would you like to go next? Because you're next to me for some reason.
You bugger. No, it was, we were at an advantage because Liz was absolutely fantastic, although we were at a slight disadvantage because we only had Liz, but she was brilliant. I might have overscored her, so apologies for that, Fair, but she got a grand total of 55. So she initially phoned the food bank and mentioned all dietary requirements and facilities, and then arranged for the food delivery. She then called Bill back to say that he had the parcel, and then she also checked what his priority was furniture-wise, which is brilliant. She took into consideration the broken lift, and also mentioned housing options in the future for Bill, which is fantastic. She then arranged delivery with Tony. Tony couldn't lift the sofa, so Liz then arranged for some volunteers to lift. So that's, sorry, I'm going off the screen here. And then she even queried with Tony that didn't we actually agree the measurements initially, so she put a foot down with that one, so that was fantastic. I didn't keep it going as well as I could have in terms of structure, so we then moved on to a community builder. So Liz contacted the builder and explained fully Bill's requirements and what he needed, so hence the 55, which, apologies if that's too many, but I thought she was brilliant.
No. Brilliant. Cool. Thank you very much, Mark. Silent applause. Tim.
Helen's starting on the helpline tomorrow. So there you go. She was amazing. There was even things I was like, I don't do that, or I hadn't thought about doing that. So no, Helen was brilliant. Even though Bill kept calling her by the wrong name, she just was completely unflustered and didn't correct him at all, just let it kept going on. She kept Bill informed at all stages of the process of what was happening and what she was going to do, and then phoning him back to tell him what she'd done and what was going to happen. Because Bill kept complaining about his legs, and he said he hadn't actually got a doctor, so Helen actually did offer to help to get him registered to a doctor and offer a volunteer to get transport to get him to the doctor so he could get his legs checked over. She also offered a benefits check because he said that he hadn't got any money. And she offered to help find a volunteer to do the shopping as well. We got him his food bank organised. And Helen also asked him about his furniture, what his furniture needs were, what his priorities were, what he wanted first. But because we had to get Sweet Sally Ann to do our food delivery, and Sweet Sally Ann wouldn't draw breath or shut up, that took quite a lot of time to get the food bank sorted, because Sally Ann does like a bit of a chat. So we didn't get any further than actually establishing his needs for his furniture. So we didn't actually get to organising delivery of it, but we were pretty well there. So brilliant. I was mightily impressed.
That's Sally Ann. Never shuts up.
No.
Thank you very much. Jess.
Wow. I feel bad now because I only awarded 15 points in mine, but Joe was amazing as well. So I feel bad now. But yes, no, she had a lovely initial conversation with Bill about what his immediate needs were, managed to sort out a food parcel, also spoke to Sweet Sally Ann and got it delivered. Luckily, she was quite good at cutting the phone call off, so that moved on swiftly. She suggested and got consent, which I was like, yes, for a housing referral to chase up what was going on with his temporary accommodation. Had a very in-depth conversation about his priorities. We found out they had a TV, and it was his first TV that he's ever had for 6 years being homeless. So it's his pride and joy. So now we're trying to move to finding him a sofa, a microwave, and actually a bed to put the mattress on, because he's currently sleeping on the floor. And we called the community builder to try and connect him, because he doesn't know anyone. And that will hopefully, the community builders knows someone that lives in Peacock Towers. So he's going to have a new neighbour and person to talk to while he's staying in his temporary accommodation. So well done, Joe. I don't know if you want to add anything, Theo.
Lovely jubbly. Sounds good. And then the last one was Jill and Ursula, wasn't it? So Jill, I think you were narrating.
Hi. Yeah, we had Fazana and Judith, and they were fab, so they can start on the helpline tomorrow as well. And like Mark, they got 55 points. So I thought we did very well. We got him a food parcel. We checked his allergies. We checked his cooking facilities. It was going to be delivered to him. He had a hot meal that evening. We were going to check his benefits. We talked to colleagues. We checked with the shift leader. We were then sorting his heating out, and we had just got as far as Transit Tony and 2 volunteers to deliver his sofa. So yeah, lots of things were covered, and it was all done really nicely, and Bill was very, very happy. So Yeah, we hadn't got as far as getting his sofa stuck up the stairs, so thank goodness for that. But yeah, did a fab job. So
Brilliant. Wow, absolutely applause all around. I think we have just managed to get 10 fabulous new helpline workers.
And the
yeah.
role can be done virtually, so it doesn't matter where you live in the world.
I just hope it really demonstrates that not only, you know, this was a taste of what we do, but how different it can be. And if you imagine that times 20,000 and a million different possibilities of how we've had to tackle this. And a lot of it, where we've done it, it wouldn't have been possible without all of the other agencies, without all the other people, without all of our amazing volunteers, and without the people on the phone lines putting in that little bit extra and just, you know, having those conversations that turn into sagas. So we're just going to go to Jill now really quickly. He's going to give you a brief overview because this all happened to Jill, and she'll give you an idea of what actually happened.
So Bill called the helpline. He spoke to one of our call handlers, and the way that we worked was that the call handlers take inquiries and the shift leaders call back to confirm all the detail of a food parcel request. That was all confirmed, and during both those two phone calls, we found out that he had no furniture, no heating, etc., etc. So we delivered a food parcel. The food bank also supplied pots and pans for him because they provide a starter pack from one of the food banks that's a cutlery, crockery and pans starter pack. I suggested he looked on Marketplace because, you know, part of our role, apart from facilitating, is to try and make them be independent as well. To look on Facebook for things, but he had no transport, even if he found things on Facebook. So having accepted that, and he'd got limited credit and dodgy internet. So what we agreed was that him and I would both look at Facebook and try and find the things that he needed. And then with my other hat as a community builder, because he was in a patch I was just due to take over, that I said that I'd got a bit of a TARDIS of a car, so would help him. We both looked on Facebook for a small sofa for him, because that seemed to be his next priority, was to sort his furniture and things out. And he did have a very large TV. That was his only possession, but I think he'd been dreaming of it for 6 years, so he's very happy that he had that, but nothing to put it on. He saw a TV stand that he asked me to collect, and we between us had found a sofa for him. So I took the TV stand with a volunteer to deliver to him, and then we realised that his stairs got very, very narrow. He was in the eaves of a house, and the likelihood of getting a sofa up his stairs and round a corner with a low ceiling was not going to, you know, unlikely. I agreed that myself and the volunteer, a friend of mine, would go and look at the sofa and pick it up, and then we had to ring him and tell him that it wasn't going to fit up his stairs. I had, from one of our office clear outs, I had an old Parker Knoll easy chair in my garage, so I sent him a photo and said, do you want this for the time being, which I then delivered. And both of us continued to look for other things for him on Facebook. One being that he found another chair, and when I drove down, somebody had left it outside for us. They told him it was a small pong chair, you know, those IKEA ones. It was a child's chair. So I drove down somebody's drive. It was there waiting for me. And then I drove away without that one again. Finally, between us, we found a sofa that came apart. And so I went and collected it for him, and then him and one of his neighbours carried it up the stairs. And in the meantime, we'd found quite a lot of other things that he needed, like curtains and bedding and table lamps and all the other things. So he did get pretty well furnished from myself and through Facebook and through our helpline volunteers. So 2 of them had things that he needed and gave them to me to deliver to him. So what else have I got? Bill, we then referred him in for to one of our partner organisations, and he's been supported by them, and he's to get him back into kind of a more positive state and employment. And another of our internal organisations has done kind of one-to-one meetings with him in a safe, COVID secure space. So he's getting there now. He's kind of, you know, he's on the way and things are looking better for him. So that's it, really.
Thank you, Debs. And all of that was just from a food bank referral.
Yeah.
He phones in to get some food and is now building an amazing
He's
life.
got,
for himself.
yeah, got heating, got furniture, got some contacts, and but one thing our group came up with was they were quite keen to get him befriended, and that we haven't done that yet. But I think that the other support that he's got has probably helped him in that way as well.
Thanks everyone for dancing on a shifting carpet with us. And yeah, if you want, yeah, you can put your questions in the chat, or you can just raise your hand and ask us now, or you can send feedback to me. I've put my email address up there. I missed off the .uk, so please add that on.